Hello, everybody. Welcome to the YouTube channel of the Anonymous Geek. On this YouTube channel, we will be discussing different ideas related to social science with specific focus on political science, international relations, anthropology, sociology, governance and public policies, and public administration. This YouTube channel will be of great benefit for students who have a keen interest in social science disciplines as well as students who have an interest in CSS and PMS examinations. I myself have been a part of the CSS and PMS journey, and I have a bachelor's in political science. Hence, as a student, I did encounter a few challenges which I thought I should address in my YouTube channel and create a much easier approach for students to understand difficult concepts and ideas. As you know, this is my first video, so I will be trying to communicate with my viewers in English language, as we all know that most of the competitive exams are held in English language, and that is why we must know the important jargons and concepts in English language. But for the ease of my viewers, I wouldn't mind shifting to bilingual approach in my videos and while explaining different concepts. So let's move forward to the major idea and the main concept of our first video. So, in today's video, we will be talking about political science, what political science is, and why is it considered as the most misunderstood subject. We all know that in the CSS and PMS exams, the subject of political science is included as an optional subject for about 200 marks. And political science is a very important subject that forms your foundation for CSS and PMS exams and helps you in other optionals as well. In fact, it helps you in Pakistan affairs and current affairs as well. But when we talk about political science with students, with people in daily life, we come to know that people do not have a very good approach or a good idea about what political science is. They mostly consider it as a subject which is very outdated and it has no relevance in today's world. However, I would like to burst your myth and tell you that political science is more than what you think. Political science is more than just paying your taxes, casting your vote, and reaching out to your politicians. And I would also like to add that most of the people think that political science is something that should be left to the politicians only. But this is a very wrong notion. We must know that political science is something that encompasses our daily life. It is a part of our businesses, it is a part of our judiciary, it is a part of our legal system, and it is a part of our daily lives. So, this question often arises that what is political science and why do people opt for this subject? So, most of the times it is believed that the students who could not make it to medical universities and engineering colleges end up opting subjects like international relations and political science. But let me tell you, that is not true always. For example, when I was in college, I had made my mind that I would not pursue natural sciences further. Hence, I was adamant to study anything that was related to social science. And hence you get to know that there are many people around who have a great affinity towards political science, social science, and this is something which makes this subject very special, because to study this subject you need to have a natural affinity towards the working of things around you. You must have an eye for observation, you must have an eye for curiosity, because this is what political science is all about. So, an integral part of political science is political philosophy. In political philosophy, we get to know the ideas of different philosophers like Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Jeremy Bentham, J.S. Mill, Rousseau, and at the same time, we also talk about the Eastern philosophers like Al Farabi, Ibn Khaldun, and Allama Iqbal. This gives us a deep understanding of the political ideas and political thoughts of different people over the years, and this helps us make a relevance with today's political spectrum. Most of the people believe that these political thoughts, these theoretical underpinnings are very outdated. But let me tell you, when you read these political texts by these philosophers, you are shocked to your core because the relevance that they have in today's world is unmatched. Along with political philosophy, political science also includes various political processes as its integral part, and these political processes are such that manifest the junction of the candidates, the citizens, and the politicians, the lawmakers, the decision makers. And this is how we see that, the political philosophy comes in play in its practical form through these various political processes. And this is what is the beauty of political science. This is the beauty of political science. This is how we can understand political science not only through text but also through practical manifestations. So, as the topic of our video is political science being the most misunderstood subject, it becomes important to bust a few myths related to political science. So, the first myth is that political science is considered as a subject that is only relevant and related to politicians. However, this is not always true. So, political science is a subject that is not only used by politicians or is only used for politics. It is, in fact, an academic discipline that outlines a manual that outlines the major steps that need to be followed in order to fulfill the citizen needs and demands. It is basically a manifestation of the relationship of rights and duties that exist between the citizens and the politicians that help build a strong public policy and help regulate businesses for people. It also highlights how the taxation policies are made. It highlights how the budgets are made yearly, how many budgets are passed. It talks about the major and minor things that are related to the citizens. For example, the inflation, the prices of sugar, the prices of rice, and all such major and minor things that regulate our daily lives. So, this is what political science actually is. It talks about governance, it talks about administration. It does not only talk about how a politician should act. Yes, it does focus a lot on what leadership qualities one must have or how leadership has shaped politics over a course of time. But it does not specifically just talk about it. It tries to talk about leadership, politics, and all these things with relevance to citizen interest. So, the second myth associated with political science is that it is only relevant to politics. Other than politics, political science has no importance in anybody's life. So, this is a complete myth that only politicians need political science and political science is only relevant to politics. In fact, if we do an analysis of the politicians in Pakistan and India, we get to know that the politicians here hardly know about what political science is, what political philosophy is, what its contents are, and they do not know the major ideas of what political science talks about. So in this way, political science is not only about politicians or politics. And when we say that it is something that should only be related to the realm of politics or the art of politics, then we just limit its academic prowess. So political science is something which is actually a very integral part of different disciplines and different professions. For example, lawyers study political science. It is a very important part of their academic journey. If we talk about the Constitution of Pakistan 1973, it is the major chunk of the content of Pakistan's political science syllabus. And in this way we see that constitution helps us understand our rights and duties. It helps us provide an insight of how things work around us. And anybody who has an idea of what constitution is actually trying to explore a facet of political science. It could be you, it could be me, it could be an ordinary citizen who is trying to understand how the governance works, how the transaction of relations happens between different departments and institutions and between citizens and politicians or lawmakers or legislators or judges, jury, executive position people, or all such things. So in this way we see that political science is something that is more than what we think. It is in fact something that is very relevant in today's world, especially after the fusion of different academic disciplines. And the third myth that I know most of the people in Pakistan and India can relate to is that people think political science has no professional future. People think that, political science is a degree that is redundant, that has no value in today's world, and it is just simply a piece of paper. So I would love to bust the myth that people with political science degrees have no employment chances, or they do not have a very bright future. In that reference, I would like to say that it provides a very strong base for people, or for those individuals who plan to appear in PMS, CSS exams, or any kind of competitive exams. It could be related to law. It could be related to police, any local, district, provincial, or national level examination. And not only is this, but we see that people with degrees in political science also have a very strong career in research. And the research spectrum in political science is very vast. It can be revolving around district management. It can be revolving around provincial research, national, international research, bilateral relations. It is also related to social service as well. At the same time, political science also helps us answer and address important issues, like why some countries are rich, why some countries are poor. It helps us understand the intersection between politics and economics and society. It helps us understand the politics of resources. It helps us understand why some countries who have many resources are still very poor, and many countries who do not have a lot of resources, they are very rich. It helps us understand the politics of colonialism, imperialism, and in this way we get to know the way the people around the globe live. So basically it kind of elevates and it kind of expands our vision. Political science also helps us understand why some countries are considered as the superpower while some are not. It helps us identify various factors that help or constitute in making a country a superpower. And it talks about hegemony, it talks about global domination, it talks about global power. It also helps us understand why some countries who once had a lot of power are now very weak, or now their power is deteriorating, or how new powers are being created in the global realm. For example, if you talk about 1900s, at that time USA was not the superpower. It was in fact Britain which was the superpower, and it was a great power because of the industrial revolution that took place there. So basically you see how various ideas are interconnected, and then we get to know about these major things, and only through political science we are able to understand these things in a very organized manner. We see that political science also helps create a lot of awareness. It helps us identify various ideologies that exist around the world. For example, the picture that I've shared here is actually a great manifestation of the Great Wall of Berlin, where the red color signifies communism and the blue color signifies democracy, which was like liberalism. And we see that how different ideologies have existed over the years. When you get to know these fundamental ideas, only then we have a very clear and transparent image of how history has unfolded itself, how different events took place. And then we get to know that how different ideas are interrelated to each other. We people live in different regions, we people are living in different territories, but at the same time our issues are same, and the way to solve these issues are also same, and that is through proper decision making, law making, through citizen participation. The fundamentals of political science are same everywhere. So why not indulge in it, have an idea about it, and to we should just start working on it together. So this is what and why political science is important. So, guys, this was the video for today. And since this was my first video, there might be a few mistakes, and I'm open to suggestions. If you would like me to, change the text or the presentation or the way I edit my videos, I would, love to hear from you guys. और अगर आप चाहते हैं कि मैं उर्दू में videos बनाऊं तो फिर भी मुझे बताएं. And because I'm open to all kinds of suggestions and recommendations, and please comment below your ideas and what kind of videos would you like to see. I do have a few ideas, but I would love to hear from you as well. So please follow and subscribe the channel. See you soon.